Hello, everybody. It's the Buzo Techie. Yeah. So, I'm trying to get back to making these tech videos. So, hopefully I can stay consistent this time. So, I want to make a system that I personally would find useful myself. So generally, I like to read different tech articles or software engineering articles or whatnot, but it's a task to keep track of the different websites and see which websites if they're blogs or not. And then of course, you can think, well, there's RSS feed readers, there's a lot of services, RSS feed reader services out there. But I don't really feel like paying to use them. And I'm also not kernel, so yeah. And there might be some free ones as well, but honestly, part of this is just an excuse for me to build something. But really, what I want to do is I want to make an RSS feed reader, but one where it doesn't require being hosted, because I also don't want to pay for hosting resources as well. So I don't want to have to pay AWS to run my RSS feed service. So instead, the system would work. It would just be a local system that runs on the machine. Runs on your local machine. The idea is that maybe every some specific time in the morning, every time it checks, all the RSS subscriptions that you have, and it generates an email with links to the news articles, and just sends you an email, and does this every morning. So something like that doesn't require your thing to be hosted. It can literally run almost free. I mean, of course, you still need, to pay your electric bill. And you need a computer. But pretty cheap. If I ever end up finishing, I'm hoping I finish this project. But knowing me, track record has been great. So, I'd like to, make this. Well, I'm trying to publish all my projects now on GitHub and publish it professionally. I say professional, publish it in a way where other people can, actually look at it and not have to decipher the craziness and neglect that I might leave on some of my projects. So, it might be, cool little open source thingamajigger. So, anyways, this first video is really just going to be about the high-level design that I came up with for the system, and then the following videos will just be coding, redesigning, debugging, and building on top of this until we actually have some satisfying working system, or until I give up. So whichever comes first. So I kind of for complete transparency, I have this notepad here where I wrote down some of the notes and designs. So I'm just gonna reference it. Maybe I didn't have to say that. I don't know. Anyways, so I kind of already touched on the requirements before, but let's say it again. So I want the ability to subscribe to RSS feeds. I want the ability to receive, a feed, essentially, some type of feed, not necessarily a Facebook scrollable feed, but just some set of new articles that I can read. And one of the more unique requirements is that I don't want the solution to require hosting. I don't want to host a backend anywhere. I don't want to pay AWS. Amazon already takes enough of my money. So yeah. Okay, so first let me so the way I approach design, I don't know if it's correct, it's just the way I've been doing it. is one, I like to do the thread workflows, and then from those workflows, I like to, I get a better idea of what data, essentially what data is required in the data flow and the functionality, and that helps me modularize those functional components. So let me actually just write something. So this is going to be two flows. One is going to be I guess a more basic one. Well, let me go with a more complex one actually. The first one is just going to be, retrieving, getting the email, the RSS email. So the first, let's see. I just got this tablet, so I'm trying to, learn how to work it. What with this? So we can say get feed is the first flow. Oh my gosh, that was horrible. So at some time X, which this could be like midnight or whatever, say get articles from subscription, and it's really generic, but we start off generic and high level, and we start getting more specific. So because things can, I try to be generic at first, well, high level at first I should say, because the more specific the plan gets, the more brittle it is. At least that's what my experience has been. So compose and send, but we flesh it out more through iterative design, and then when you start coding more, when you start coding the actual system, it gets fleshed out even more. So I put sleep here, but it's not like the program's going to be like actually sleeping. What's probably going to happen is, there's going to be a Linux script that just activates this function at a particular time. Anyway, so the get feed thing, the general flow would be, at some time X, it gets the articles from our subscription. So we're going to have a set of subscriptions that's probably stored on disk, and then when this flow activates, it'll load up that subscription from the disk into memory, and then do processing to create a list of articles, and then it sends it composes and sends the email, and then it goes back to sleep, or it stops and then it gets activated again whenever time X hits. And then sorry, I'm trying to get used to using this pen. Add subs. Oh jeez, that's horrible. Yeah, it has this middle pen, and it's just kind of this middle button. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this one should be. I hope that's eligible. So I feel like the first time I go. So essentially, you just get an RSS link, and then you add two subs. Okay, so that's like the two main thread workflows, which is cool. So the second one, I only got touched on the second one too much. Essentially, you have an RSS link, and I guess maybe you run some command or whatever. It's gonna be a CLI tool, probably. And then it adds it to the sub, so it adds it to some data structure, or which writes to the file, or it might just write to the file directly. But yeah. So anyways, you add your RSS link to sub, and anytime this get feed flow comes in, the subs that it gets articles, the subs from which it derives the articles from, is coming from the subs that were added. So these two seem like, reasonable flows. Where's my mouse? How can I make a new? Okay, so I kind of want to talk about from those workflows. I want to talk about the modularization of the plan modularization I have for this tool. So we start with the oh my gosh, the create feed workflow. So I mean, first you're just gonna have the driver, I suppose. Yeah. Let's see. You have the driver portion of the service. And then we're gonna have an articles module. Hey, it's module. I don't know. This is why I should never dropped out of elementary school. So you have the email module. Maybe I was going out to write too if I never dropped out of elementary school. So those are the three main modules. Essentially the driver is gonna get activated once we hit time X, right? So let me just kind of list some of the pieces of data they have. We'll have list of subs. This will have email info. Okay, so time X will happen. Then we will make a request to the articles. To the articles. Make a request to the articles module to get a list of articles. Okay. Probably next time I do this, I have to figure out how to make stuff more legible. Maybe. Anyways, to get a list of articles from the articles module, and then from that list of articles, we essentially turn it to a string in the driver module, I would say, and then we pass that string to the email module, and we essentially call returns, but essentially we call the email module's API to send email to friends. I guess I can call it friends, to address book. Addy book. Okay. And yeah, so that would be essentially the modularization flow. Articles module, the whole point of that is that it's going to have all the information related to subscriptions and the RSS information. So it handles everything, articles and subscriptions. So it will be able to derive article links based on the descriptions it has. When you add subscriptions, the functionality to add subscriptions will be provided by the articles module. I modularize this, I guess, based off of responsibilities, because I feel like if you modularize based off responsibilities, related data, because data is, maybe I could just be wrong. I'm a junior engineer, so as I keep going. I learn and tweak my understanding, but my current understanding is that if you module by responsibility, there's going to be data related to those responsibilities, and keeping those pieces of data close together, I would say helps manage the complexity for the system as a whole. So the driver, doesn't care. It encapsulates the complexity. The driver doesn't care about the data structures used to manage subscriptions or how to load it from the thing. The driver just knows that there's some subsystem out there that has the information and can produce a list of articles based off those subscriptions. And email, driver doesn't know, doesn't care about email addresses or how to handle those. It just knows that there is a subsystem out there such that if I send it a string, it's going to send an email composed of that string to everybody in its address book. So I think that's fair. Let me go over the second flow from this modularized perspective. So what? So the second flow, which as we said was add sub, release. How would that work? So we provided an RSS link. So this is okay. I mean, I might change the way I write stuff. I don't know. So we have the articles module. And so remember, it's the same articles module from before. It's just I'm writing it for a different flow. And it still has a list of subs. And then we call the add sub API. We call that. So maybe this is a better way to try to kind of indicate the driver flow. So this is one module. This is kind of like the driver for this flow, which I guess would be another module. Well, yeah, I guess the main driver module, you could say. Actually, no, that's actually all there is to that flow. You just do that, and you're done. And then you have I didn't mention it before, but you'd have like a config email or add email to address book, which would which I think is pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, email addy. Email module. So essentially just email ID, add email, and then email info. So that's essentially the flow for adding emails. Like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. So I think from these, modularizations of the workflows, we can kind of further specify, okay, what are our modules and what are their APIs? So based off all of that, let's, kind of zoom in more on the articles module now. Module. So we know we want our articles module in terms of data. We want it to have a list of subs. And maybe it might be a hash hash map later on or something. But right now, as I see it, it's definitely gonna be some type of collections. But as I see it, and yeah, so Java is one of my first languages, so I'm saying collections, but which is I think a Java specific term. But I hope you guys know what I mean by collections. Just a data. A data object with, wait, is it called data object, data structure? Yeah, sorry, data structure. A data structure that collects, that contains multiple points of data. I guess that's the best way to address that, which could be a list or an array, but it also could be a set or a hash map or a tree. But yeah, I feel like that might become more clear which one to use when we start coding. When I say we, I mean I. You guys can make me do all the work. We do know that whatever this list is, and whatever, we want a list of subs, and the subs should maybe at the very least have the linked RSS link. Like, yeah, from what I remember, what the RSS link /info. Essentially the way to actually retrieve the articles, and then we might want a nickname. And due to the fact that it has a nickname, that actually might just end up being a map. So yeah. And then in terms of functionalities, we would want get newest articles. Oh Jesus! This is horrible. Subs. That function would essentially just, based off this data structure over here, list of subs, we would probably go to each of the subscriptions or maybe some subset of them. Oh my gosh. No, stop it. Pen. Damn pen. No, it's 2 mouses. Okay, anyways. Okay, sweet pumpkin pie. Okay, yeah, so let's see, whatever. Yeah, so get newest subs. Get newest articles. Yeah, we're just probably gonna do something like going through each subscription or some subset of them and check for the articles that came out since the time that we did the last call for this. And then, yeah. And then it returns a list of articles and information. And then the other main, I guess, function would be, add subs. And then, this could probably take nickname and RSS info /link. And it just adds it to this data structure, so this function can use later on. And then since we're gonna need like a load state or something, and a write state. And what this would be, I guess I prefer read, just to be safe, right? Essentially, this is just going to be reading the files from our disk. So, the articles module, when the application stops, we still, want to have this list of subs information. So we're going to write into a file any updates before the program dies. And anytime the program loads up again, we just read it from the state. So we need those things. Yeah. And then, what happens if I turn this up? I don't know if that's gonna help me now. help make it more legible. But anyways, in the email module, maybe I did help. No, never mind. Guys, please forgive me for spelling module wrong. I'm just literate. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you guys. Anyways, so email. Module will have email info, which essentially just be like an address book. And within that, it could be like a list of it. Even though this application is supposed to be meant for one person, I guess, but it doesn't make sense to limit I don't think it makes sense to limit it to just one email. One person may have multiple emails, and two, if they want to add, somebody else to this, I guess if they want to spam somebody else this email with RSS stuff, then this essentially allows them to do it for free. Like what I mean by free as it's not a difficult feature to add, simply because this will be a collection instead of just one email. So, say, just for me to specify it's a collection. So that's that, and then we can have functionalities, add email, which add email, send email to address book. Oh man, why did I do that? That's not supposed to do that. Anyway, so this was essentially just given some string with the message. It would just send it to each person inside this email info. And then of course we need the read and write state. Because the read and write state, essentially, this email information, we need to write it to the disk and then read it so it doesn't get lost in the digital ether, which is where I last saw my sanity. I've never found my sanity again after losing it to the digital ether. So, I think at this point, kind of the requirements and the solution to those requirements is fleshed out to the point where it'll make sense to start coding something. So in the next episode, I guess I'm gonna start coding something, and hopefully it resembles something that I just talked about. Okay, well, cool. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's been a while since I talked to myself like this. I have a slight headache, but hopefully I get better. I hope the mic isn't too bad. When I was writing some test videos, it seemed pretty low a little bit, but I'm probably just gonna buy a new mic instead of using the laptop one. Anyways, but feedback on videos, that's always appreciated. So thank you. Oh yeah, and also subscribe.